Hi everyone, I'm Yong Boon and he's Ian, and today we'll be sharing about our 6-year journey in RI. So on this first slide you can see there is the two famous infrastructure in our school, right? There's a Yusof Ishak block with a clock tower, and in the other one on the right you can see our library, circular library called the Shaw Foundation Library. Yes, we spent a lot of time there. Yeah. So let's move on. If you can't see me and then you can't see me, you can just see Ian only here. I'm on the guy on the left, okay, next to Ian. Yes. Let's move on. Okay.
Wait, hold on.
Yes.
I think it's important for us to add in some additional information about ourselves first. So like in terms of what kind of student we are, I think we would be considered like definitely science stream students. So in fact our main passion is in chemistry. So we actually we are not really the sporty kind. So we haven't actually participated in those like A division like sporting competitions, but we actually participated in chemistry Olympiads during our 6 years. So our perspective may be slightly skewed towards more of the academic side rather than the sporting side of it.
I guess you can consider it as A division chemistry Olympiad, right?
Oh yeah, A division chemistry Olympiad, I guess.
And also in a B division as well, because it's
I guess
B division also, right?
Yeah, B and A division chemistry Olympiads.
Yes.
And I guess like you could consider that we are not like extremely popular individuals in the school. So most people probably don't we have a circle of friends.
Yeah.
So I guess we have to like profile ourselves first, right? Because that give rise to some bias in like the view of things in the school.
Oh yes, indeed. Yeah.
Okay, so I think Yong Boon, you can move on if you're ready.
Okay, sure. So how do most students gain entry into RI, year 1 to 4? So the majority of people get entry in the school via the normal PSLE results route, right? So if you have a good enough PSLE results, then you will be able to gain entry into the school. Means that you have a score that is at least equals to the cutoff point, right? And then there's also another significant proportion that gain entry via a GPDSA. Do you gain entry via the GPDSA? You did, right, Ian?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's also another smaller group of students who gain entry through sports DSA. So for me, I actually went through an appeal route because my PSLE result was just 1 point below the cutoff point that year, and so I decided to appeal. Actually, I was actually posted to ACSI, but I appealed and I managed to get into RI, and I think that was one of the best decisions I made because I really enjoyed my 6 years in RI. Yes, yeah. I was actually placed in a class that had many of my classmates were actually like sports DSAs or like appeal students, but I found that actually most of them were able to juggle with the workload and they still managed to do well in the school, reasonably well, not really well, but just reasonably well. So I think it's sports DSA is actually a pretty good thing to open up the school to more students who may not be as academically capable, right? Let's move on. Yeah, so if you ask like Rafflesians, RI graduates, I think you will not be able to find two students who have the same experiences. Everybody has a different tale to tell, right? So for Ian and I think we have roughly similar experiences in year 5 and 6, but our year 1 to 4 experiences are likely quite different, right? In year 5 and 6 we have the same CCA, we are in the same class, we're the same group of close friends, and we even went and got into the same enrichment programs at the chemistry Olympiad, etc. So we really have a lot of us, and also the research program, the SRP, right? We should share another video. Yeah. So yeah, we really had very similar experiences in year 5 and 6. Yeah. Anything to add on?
Not really. No, not really.
Okay, let's move on then. Yeah, maybe we should start sharing from here. Okay.
Oh, okay. So the assessment system is quite unique in that we don't use like the system which like the most O-level schools use, which if I'm not wrong called the L1 R5 system, but instead we use the GPA system. So the formatives are basically practices not contributing to subject GP, which is most of the say class tests and all those, but occasionally around for each subject maybe once a month, right? There are summatives, which are tests and projects that contribute to the subject GP. GP meaning grade point.
Yeah. Correct.
So there's also the big exams, similar to the SA1 and SA2 of most other schools, is our MYCT, standing for Mid-Year Common Test, and EOY, standing for End of Year Exams. So for 2019, they have scrapped MYCT for Year 1 and Year 3, in line with other secondary schools scrapping their SA1 for Sec 1 and Sec 3.
Yeah, that's right.
And the GPA, which is a grade point average, is out of 4.0, and it's the average over the subject GPs of 8 subjects. So the higher the GPA, the closer it is to 4.0, the better the results.
So a bit more about our summatives in year 1 to 4. So I think one different part about summatives compared to like other mainstream secondary schools is that for our summatives we have a lot of like projects, like a lot of what we call performance tasks, right? So like in year 2 we had a drama challenge. In I think also there was also some like mini science projects to make a solar cooker, etc. So I think those were are particularly interesting features of our assessments that students in other mainstream secondary schools don't have, right? But again, these kind of creative tasks are also a bit sometimes can be a bit challenging to do. So compared to like pen and paper tests, so I think there's a plus and minus about this sort of assessment system. Yeah. Let's move on. Interesting things that which occurred. So maybe Ian can share about this slide.
So definitely most interesting would be like RI boarding. So like in year 3 we were all allowed to stay in our school's boarding facility for one term, which was 10 weeks. So it was quite interesting. It was also at the same time that I participated in a game design competition with a few of our other friends. So one good memory would be like spending quite a lot of time in each other's like boarding rooms to actually work on this project. And I also remember like 2 of my friends living in the same block coming to my room to play computer games until pretty late at night. And the only downside of this boarding experience would be the food. Yeah, the food was had periodic variations in quality, and sometimes some safety issues as well. But I presume they resolved that.
Yeah, boarding was also quite an interesting experience for me because I never had the opportunity like to live in a communal setting right outside of my house ever before, right? So I think that provided me with this unique experience. I didn't really actually, I can't remember much which happened in boarding. Actually, it's I mean there were some activities which were organized every week by the people who were in charge of running the boarding program, and that kept us occupied during the evenings. Yeah. Nothing else much about boarding. Yeah.
So then the next interesting thing would be that in year 4, right, we actually finished the entire syllabus, because the year 3 and year 4 is like a combined kind of syllabus where the year 3 results will be carried over to year 4 and added on with year 4 results. So by the end of year 4, like we finished all the syllabus, and then there's about how many weeks? Is it 8 weeks or 10 weeks or 12 weeks? I forgot. They keep cutting it down, but our time it was how many weeks?
8 weeks.
8 weeks. 8 weeks of gap semester, which is basically we can take on elective modules both in school and with our partner organizations outside the school, and even overseas with our partner schools overseas, right? Where we actually learn things in like the out of classroom settings. So for example, for me, I signed up for a few modules in the school where we are taught about things that we won't normally be exposed to in the school syllabus. For example, we learned about radio modeling cars, and we also learned about defense technologies, which was conducted with some special invited guests from DSO. And we also I also went for design incubation internship in NUS. So basically, I was attached to one of the design laboratories in NUS. Here we actually learned a bit on product design, both the aesthetics and the functionality. And Yong Boon and I both went on the same overseas exchange program to Kobe High School in Japan. And it was quite interesting because we could stay with a family of a host family, right, in Japan. And similarly, our buddy, our Japanese student buddy, could come to our house to stay. So it was quite interesting interacting with them and getting to learn about their culture a bit more and in a very close and intimate setting.
Yeah, for my
And Yong Boon, do you have anything else to add on?
yeah, for my gap Sam, it's a bit different from yours. Other than the common thing that we shared which is the trip to Kobe. Everything else was quite different. So I signed up for a lot of maths electives. I mean, some people may think it's quite boring, but I did learn. I do enjoy doing maths. So some intro, like some crash course on like some A-level maths was quite interesting for me. And I think I think those maths modules took up 2 weeks of the 8 weeks. Then I also had some biodiversity course on coffee drinking, coffee culture in Singapore, coffee culture internationally, learning about different types of coffee. I think that was also quite interesting. And then there was also some other academic courses which I can't really remember because I guess they were the less interesting ones, so I should not talk about them anyway. Yeah, so for my Kobe trip, I think it was quite memorable for the both of us, and I think for everyone who went on the trip. I had so the students who came that interacted with us were also students who were interested in maths and science, right? So we shared a lot about our common interest in maths and science, and yeah, we had a good exchange. Yeah.
Yeah. So like other like more like mundane everyday kind of interesting highlights of our school life would definitely be hanging out with our friends. So most of the time hanging out with our friends would be accompanied by a game of bridge, which is more exciting than you think because card games are actually explicitly disallowed on the school campus. So many times you have to find like strategic locations to play our games and all that. Yeah, so I guess that is like the most like common like interesting thing that will happen day to day lah.
Yeah, and especially because in gap semester, right? Actually, there was a lot of free time, in between
Yeah.
the modules and whatnot. Because the modules don't take up the usual school day, right? So in between, there's some time to play games. So yeah, we'll play card games during those pockets of free time. Yeah.
Yeah, so this photo I have something to share about. Like if you have to see, right, is this photo is showing my friend's hand, and as you can see, it's a very good hand for playing bridge.
Yes.
So he made a wager with us and said that if he actually lost the game of bridge, he would do a forfeit. Of course, no money involved, no gambling, just a simple forfeit. And ended up he lost quite spectacularly. And then yeah, there was quite humorous forfeit which he did.
Oh, what was the call that he made? Like a 10-4 or what? How many sets must he win?
Yeah. It was quite hard for him to meet also, and I think he just missed by 1 or 2 sets, so it was quite a nice game to spectate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Oh, so you weren't playing this game. You were just that's how you took the video.
No, I was spectating. That's why I was able to take this photo.
Oh, okay, I see. Okay, let's move
Okay,
on.
so I think I can move on to the next slide.
Yeah. So is student life stressful in RI? For me, I don't think it was very stressful as long as you were able to manage your workload and manage your time properly. Make sure that you don't spend too much time playing games, doing non-work related things, and make sure you finish your homework on time. I think that can actually help to reduce the stress a lot. Yeah. So for me, it wasn't really that stressful. Although there were periods of times like where it was a bit stressful for me, especially in the first half of secondary 3, where I was in this water polo team, right? I was in water polo for the first 2.5 years of my time in RI, from year 1 all the way to the middle of year 3, right? So for the first half of year 3, I was in B division, and the coach was someone who was very crazy and on about training, and he gave us quite a tough training each time we had training, and we also had like quite regular trainings, right? So it was quite tough for me to manage the trainings because the trainings drain a lot of energy from you. Yeah, if you're a sportsman, you should know it does drain a lot of energy. So when you go home, you just want to lie on the bed and sleep, and you don't do any more work. So I guess that was when there was a bit of stress because I just couldn't manage the training and the work that was assigned to me. Yeah, so that was, I guess, the most stressful part of my 6 years, and that's why I quit water polo subsequently in June. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's
I think that was a wise move, Yong Boon.
yes. On to you. Yeah,
Yeah.
anything to say about stressfulness?
Well, I think the stressfulness, right? If you're not in the sports CCA, okay, if you're in the sports CCA, it's very stressful because like the culture of the school is that like you're always pushed to your limits. Like there's this pursuit of excellence kind of concept with our school. So like there's always like a push to be the top. So I guess like if you're in a sports CCA, it can be quite physically and mentally draining lah. But as for the academic curriculum, right, I would honestly say that it is not much more difficult than the O-level difficulty. I think it keeps pace with the O-level difficulty. So in some cases, our school teachers actually say that we are actually easier than O-level schools in terms of the academic difficulty because the mainstream schools have to actually prepare the students for the O-levels while we don't have that same like benchmark exam. So we are held to a lower academic standard in some aspects. Some of my teachers would say that. So not sure if it's true or not. But I think some stress can come from peer pressure because like there are many good students around us academics wise. Because from I think throughout Sec 1 to Sec 4, I was in what can be considered a pretty academically strong class, right? So I think that there can be some pressure if you're constantly comparing results with your peers because some of them actually would score very well in the exams. And so I think in this case, stress is a frame of mind lah. As long as you know, just be content with self-improvement and not too obsessed with, comparing with people, your results and everything. I think stress definitely can be managed.
Yeah, I do agree with that. So just don't compare too much. I just compare with your self can already. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Is everyone just focused on achievements? Anything to say first, Ian?
Yeah, I have a bit of things to say. So, like, I think that definitely there will be a greater proportion of people in our school that are really aiming to be the top in what they do compared to like say a more mainstream school, right? That is in a sense like less competitive. So definitely I've seen my fair share of people who are a bit too focused on like getting the top in their competitions, even like in extracurricular activities like in their CCA, in like volunteering, right? I feel that they are like aiming to be like particularly outstanding and gunning for a very long list of achievements on their portfolio or CV. But at the same time, I've also seen many outstanding achievers who are honestly like just there based on passion. Yeah, I think many of the sports people will be a good example of that, right? They're really driven by passion. And I've also known a very good, in fact, I would say the top physics student in our batch, right? And not to name who he is, but I think he honestly is really driven by passion. I can see that in him. And many of the Olympiad students that I've interacted with, right, chemistry Olympiad students, they're truly driven by passion. So I think it's not correct to say that, oh, we are driven to score well just because of peer pressure or because of a certain like desire to just climb higher and higher above our peers. No, I think there's really a significant portion of students that actually putting in their best effort because they're interested and they have a passion in what they're doing.
And in fact, if you talk about these Olympiads, people who do well in Olympiads, I feel that those people who really want to just accumulate achievements and make their CV look good, I don't think they will actually want to spend their time doing Olympiads, because Olympiads are something, with a high effort, not so high return thing. So I think those people who want to just accumulate good stuff on their CV, I don't think they'll actually participate in Olympiads in the first place. Yeah. So Olympiad winners are usually just those who are really just passionate on the subject.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this picture was taken at the IBMQ 2017, was it? Year 4
Yes,
that year,
yes,
right? It was all on immunology, right? Oh yes, yes. Oh yeah.
yes.
So it was taken because the four of you got gold medal. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on. Ghost stories and other from the grapevine stories.
So like,
Okay, share
okay,
first.
I'll share a bit on the ghost stories which I've heard. Like I heard there are more lah, but I just heard of these few. So there's this story that the we actually have a swimming pool in our school campus, but it's just 1 or 2 meters short of being Olympic sized. So this poses a problem. Like whenever we have to, our swimming team have to train right for competitions that is like using an Olympic sized swimming pool, they have to go somewhere else to actually train. I heard lah, but on certain occasions. So there's this question: why not? Why wasn't the swimming pool just built to an Olympic size, right? So like there's this rumor that like because our school was actually built on an old columbarium, no, old graveyard, right? And it's currently still next to a columbarium. So when building the swimming pool, right? During the building of the last 1 meter, there was repeated accidents that happened, which resulted in a few serious injuries and deaths of the workers involved. And they just can't build the swimming pool finish. And like there was this rumor that like some feng shui master was consulted and he said that it's because like you are going into the boundary of the spirits and they're not happy about it, and then that's why like the construction was halted and then the swimming pool was just built as it is.
Alright.
So another ghost story which I heard, and in fact this story was told in the dead of the night during a school camp. So some people who are present were actually quite spooked out by this story, but personally I wasn't so scared by it. But it was basically there's this story that once there was a female RI teacher, then she unfortunately suffered a miscarriage, and she decided to donate the fetus to a school as a biological specimen. And then after that, there have been reports of like supernatural incidents that have been happening within the vicinity of the year 1 to 4 biology labs ever since. But I did search online, and there's this apparently there are actually fetus biological samples in our bio labs, but they were acquired by our school a very long time ago. Like these samples were easily 40-50 years old, so this seems to invalidate this story. And the third story would be the haunted clock tower, actually not clock house. And it is said that once a few students went up to the clock tower, and then in the middle of the night, and then when daylight came, right, they were like nowhere to be seen. And then when their friend went to check on them, right, by climbing up the clock tower, they just found 3 boxes. Instead of 3 people there, they found 3 black boxes. So it was rumored that they were transformed by some like supernatural power into like inanimate boxes. So yeah, that's just how the story goes. And but we don't have opportunity to actually go investigate because the clock tower is actually blocked off by locked gates. So unfortunately, no personal encounters with supernatural spirits for me, right? Yong Boon, any encounters?
Yeah, no, I have not had a single encounter in my 4 years at the Yong to 4 site. And the only story I've heard was among the 3 you mentioned, the swimming pool, biology lab, and the clock tower. The only one I heard is the fetus one. The fetus one very popular. I think everybody knows.
Yeah.
But the haunted one, the haunted clock tower and the swimming pool, no, that one I've not heard it. Okay, so interesting for you to hear for me to hear it from you. Okay, so let's move on. Good things about RI. Okay, let me begin this sharing about this good things in RI first. So I think one really good thing in RI is that we really have some of the best teachers. I think teachers are really one of the most treasured resource in our school, because I don't think you are able to find teachers that are so passionate about teaching certain subjects, because many of our teachers are very experienced. They're taught for many years at the school, and they are very willing to stay back and after school with you to go through certain concepts, to go through certain things that you don't really understand fully, and they will really take the time to explain it very patiently to you. And I would like to just mention, my physics teacher in year 6, Mr. Zizi, he's a really passionate guy. He gives us his handphone number and allows us to WhatsApp him physics questions, and he will just instantaneously. I mean, usually you just instantly reply to our messages when he sees it, and he even does that when in the wee hours of the night, like 12 a.m., 1 a.m. He will still do that if he's awake and check his phone. Yeah, so he's a really passionate guy, and he really enjoys helping students learn physics. So yeah, we are really good teachers. So other good things to share about RI, Ian?
Oh, like I would say that definitely the resources that we have access to is actually much better than a lot of other schools. For example, this photograph on the slide, right? It shows actually us doing a chemistry Olympiad practical in the school lab.
Yes,
And
yes.
basically, our school labs are very well equipped. Like we have equipments like reflux setups, like micro pipettes, like even like a laminar flow hood, right? And FTIR machines, AAS machines, HPLC machines even that are like very difficult to find in other school laboratories. And actually, our school purchased this as old models that NUS wanted to like do away with. And yeah, that's how our school purchased it, and it actually came at a pretty high cost to the school. So I guess that's a very good investment that the school has made. And in addition, I think you also just get opportunities which students from other schools wouldn't be able to get. For example, participation in many competitions, right? Like the Singapore Science and Engineering Fair and various Olympiads. And really, I think we do have connections with a lot of like research institutions that allow us to do student research projects. And also, we have a lot of alumni who have done very well in the Olympiads, international Olympiads even, and that they're able to come back to train us, and resulting in us scoring like better than a lot of other schools in the actual Singapore competitions. So I think,
Yes, I agree.
yeah, our alumni, they are definitely a very treasured resource. Yeah, so I think that's one thing very good about the school, which is opportunities.
Yeah, and I do agree with that. For example, the Olympiads, not just the alumni, but the teachers also put in a lot of effort to make sure that we have regular trainings and that the training programs rather intensive. I mean, if you just talk to, I had a chance to like talk to students who participate in chemistry Olympiad from other schools, and they just told me, oh, my school only organized one or two lessons just a few weeks before before the Olympiad. So of course they are not. Obviously, you won't expect them to do that well, lah, right? And they didn't do that well compared to our school. So yeah, we really have a very good training resources for all these Olympiads and other competitions, right? Resulting in us doing quite well in these competitions. Yeah. Anything else to add about good things about our school?
Mm, I would say that the environment is also good because you get to meet with a lot of people who are really excellent in their field. Like for example, like I think this is more so in the higher levels, like in sec 4 or in the JC, because we get to actually mix with people who have similar interests and passion as us in academics, like in chemistry for me and Yong Boon, and we actually get to talk to them very high level chemistry and our teachers as well. So I think the general environment is very good for those who want to expand their knowledge to even higher level thing, to learn beyond the curriculum. I think it's the same for those sporting students. I think they can also find very high caliber sports people in the school as well.
Oh yes, like for example in year 6 when we went for this training before the ICHO selection test, we had some training and we invited a few of our alumni to come back to tutor us. And so there was this guy called Matthew, and he was very very passionate in organic chemistry, and actually he's very knowledgeable in basically all fields of chemistry, I would say. So he was able to share with us a lot about a lot of knowledge that he has gained over the years in researching on his own, and yeah, that really was very treasured by all of us. Yeah, and also really helped us in preparing for the competition, especially the practical part, because not only does Matthew have a lot of knowledge about chemistry, he also had a lot of practical skills, or the correct practical skills. In the when you do organic synthesis, what should you do? The steps involved, the tips, and that he gave us. All of these were all very instrumental in helping us prepare for the selection test, right? So yeah, our alumni are really a treasured resource. Okay, let's move on. Oh yeah. So if you talk about good things, then you must also talk about the not so good things. So I didn't make this slide. So Ian, would you like to share about some thoughts that you had in mind when you make this slide?
Okay, so it is very difficult to find things that are not good because overall I think the school has done a really good job in like giving us quality education. So I think one main area that maybe a point that to look into would be whether the pursuit of excellence conflicts with like education value, right? Because as what I said, as what Yong Boon shared previously, he was really pushed the limits where during his sports. But at the same time, most students will not be pursuing sports as their main main part of their lives in future. So is there really a lot of educational value or value to students in pushing them so far, right? So some may say it will benefit those really aspiring sports people, right, to really nurture their talents. But at the same time, to the average student in a sports CCA, right, is there really a lot of value in it? And the next question perhaps would be like sometimes like the pursuit of excellence for the school as a combined body may actually result in some students being felt that they are left behind, because there's a lot of focus in the school about the high achievers. Like the high achievers are given like a lot of attention. For example, they are like called by the higher educational department for special scholarship advisories. They are like given a lot of attention by the teachers, especially those in Olympiad training. They are given a lot of resources. So this may lead to some of the students that are maybe struggling in their studies, feeling like they are like not as valued by the school, right, potentially. And maybe lastly, the last thing I would like to say is that sometimes like this pursuit of excellence may come as a result, may result in like some students being who may benefit from certain opportunities being denied these opportunities because the school results, overall school results will benefit if say the better student gets the opportunity, even if that student has already been exposed to many of such opportunities, right? So for example, like you see like some top students constantly representing the school in certain competitions, right, both sporting and academics, while like other students who may be also pretty good, right, but just not the best, right, being left out from these opportunities even if they put in a lot of effort. So one example would be definitely overseas competitions, right? Overseas competitions are normally given to the best students, where actually like I personally feel that there can be a lot more learning to be done if like these opportunities are more equally spread out lah. Like definitely there must be some selection based on ability. I'm not denying that, but like maybe instead of like sending the same top individual to 3 competitions, maybe send the second best, the third best, and the fourth best in school to those other competitions as well, right?
Yeah, I do agree with your view. Yeah, I don't have much to add on about not so good things in our school. Yeah, so I think you covered enough. Conclusion. Yeah, so we are very fortunate to have received a quality education in this school. As I said before, I never regretted my decision of appealing to RI and getting into the school. And yeah, we're really exposed to many opportunities that other students in mainstream schools don't have the access to. And so yeah, we're really thankful for that. And yeah, we met many like-minded peers, and yeah, we have friends that we still meet up with now regularly. Unfortunately, we can't do that during the circuit breaker, but yeah, we still have a lot of friends in our WhatsApp, social media. We still chat with them regularly. Yeah, so if you do have a chance to enroll into RI, yeah, I think you should just enroll into the school. Yes, yeah. So this is our Y Raffles. Yes.
Yes, this is our Y Raffles, which is basically the hashtag that our school's like promotional team came up to encourage students to share like why they love the school. And yeah, we do love our school.
Okay. Is there anything else you wanna share, or shall we end the video here?
I think we can end this video. Yeah, do like watch us for future like mini vlog videos. Yeah.
Alright. Okay. Thank you.